talk down to earth and give everybody a snapshot of what is going on out here in the industry. So again, she's Olivia Ewing. She's a certified financial planner. I like her because I can talk stocks with her, crypto market with her. She knows her stuff. So without further ado, I want to welcome Olivia Ewing. Uh-oh. Olivia, you there? Make sure we're good here. Hey, there we go. All right. What's up, sister? How you been?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Man, thank you for coming through and happy belated birthday. I see you doing things over there, sister.
Thank you.
But no, thank you for joining in. Like I said, I wanted to just have a down to earth conversation about financial planner and what to expect, who should be your client, who should work with a financial advisor. Do you go by advisor or planner? Like, what do you prefer?
Yeah, so I think the official title is a financial advisor, but I am a certified financial planner. So either title works. I'm very flexible.
She said, well, the first question I have on deck would be, is it for everybody and can you help everyone, or is there a certain position or place where people need to be before consulting your assistant?
Yeah, so I think that is probably the most common question that I get. And there's really kind of two groups of people that fall into, do I need a financial planner? And so the first group is going to be people who are in transition. So these are people, maybe you're changing jobs, you're changing careers, you just got married, maybe you just got divorced, you're buying a house, and you really need to get your finances in order, and you need someone to take a step back and look and help kind of get that together.
Right.
The second group of people are going to be the people who honestly don't have a passion for it or don't have the time for it. And so I always use the analogy of, I'm not a car person. I know just enough to know to take my car to get serviced, but I don't care to learn how to change a tire or change my own oil. Now there are going to be investors, just like there are people who love to change their own oil. Of course, it's cheaper and they want to use certain oils, and that's just their thing. But it's not mine. And so if that's you, if you're not interested, or you frankly don't have the time, hiring an advisor for your finances makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I have a couple of friends that change their own oil and they fix their own lawnmowers, and I said, guys, I don't have time for that.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it is interesting. You might want to, but it is something that you have to constantly stay in tune with. And if you don't do that, then you probably need to have someone doing that for you.
Doing it for you, right? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that explanation. Let's see here. The next question I have, like, are you the typical advisor, or how would Edward Jones differentiate from your others at TD Ameritrade or some of the other?
Yeah. So two groups there too, right? So Edward Jones falls into what we call full service brokerage. So we do financial plans. We're going to help with stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, long-term care, disability insurance. So it's anything that has a dollar sign, we can help with that. Debt management, credit cards, like just anything you can really think about is really where we hold that. And then we are the ones who are actually doing the managing for you. So we are the ones having the conversation, meeting with you one-on-one, coming up with a plan, helping you do that. Whereas, I don't know, your TDs, your Vanguards, your Fidelities, it's really a platform and you're the one designing on that platform. So if you have interest and you want to play around and buy your own stock and do that, that's going to be the space for you. But if you're looking for actual planning and guidance, we're the best in the industry for that.
You are the accountability is what I'm hearing too, or that's what I'm experiencing.
Yes, holding you to your own plans.
No, I mean, I'm going to veer for 2 seconds. I had an agent in my office. I called him at the printer and I said, what would you ask a financial, planner? and he literally said, how much should I be eating out, or should I buy my car cash or finance? I'm gonna put you on the spot. What's your opinion of that? What do you tell people about food and like
Yeah.
buying a car?
So first and foremost, everything is going to be individualized.
Right.
So it depends on how you might want to think about that. But I don't think that there's a wrong way to do it or a right way to do it. It's just that you are doing it with intent and it's a part of your plan. So for that particular person, it might make total sense for him to pay for that car cash. Maybe he gets a better deal. Maybe it allows him to buy less of a car, stay with on budget. Or maybe he can use those dollars, invest them in another way, and put the car on credit. I mean, that's also a really reasonable way. And
Right.
then I tell people about their habits. So whether that's going out to eat, it's totally fine to have a habit. So whether you like to vacation, go out to eat, you like to buy nice clothes, but you probably don't need 5 habits. So pick the things that you like to do, inflate those budget items, and then decrease in those other areas.
You have been the first person to tell me that you've actually had clients that you've had to force to go on vacation, or you've had to force them to live their lives. Can you elaborate on that, Olivia? Like, you don't have to tell names or anything, but
Yeah.
that resonated with me when you told me that.
So I think we sometimes have been, particularly now in this kind of grind culture. It's like grind and save and invest and go and do and put it away. But you actually have to take time for yourself to recharge for your business. And you do need to spend the money at some point, right? The goal isn't to turn some magical age of 55, 60, or 70 and then live life. You need to find that balance between living life today and creating those memories and those stories, and then making sure that you're putting enough aside for your future.
Right. No, thank you for breaking that down. So like when some people say they don't feel like they have enough to maybe save or put away, what do you say to those people? Do you break down their bank statements and say, look, dude, I just found $400 that you're like doing stupid things with? What do you do in those scenarios?
So I time and we make money for the things that are important to us. And a lot of times what I hear in most cases is that you haven't made saving for your future important enough. And so we need to find out what else we need to maybe prioritize and move around. So I'll give the example, my cell phone bill. I've never not paid it. I don't care what's going on in my life.
Right.
It has to happen, right? I might not eat out as much this month. I might not go on vacation, but I will pay my cell phone bill.
Right.
I've made that a priority. I've never missed it. I've never been late. You can do that for your finances and paying yourself first. You just have to prioritize it that way and make that the line item and make everything underneath it fall into place instead of how do I fit this in on the backside.
Okay. But okay, so with that, Olivia, like, what have you been able to squeeze out of people that maybe feel like they can't? What are some true stories where you've like, dude, come on, and any success stories?
Yeah. So two kind of things there. Sometimes you need to make more money. I know that sounds awful, right? But like sometimes we need to find another source of income. Is there a way to maybe dabble in real estate or do something different to earn more? Do we need to do that? Or do we do simple things like if you do like to go out to eat, maybe we go out to eat less. Maybe we skip the appetizers, desserts, and adult beverages. Or maybe we bring down the scale of where we go out to eat. So maybe we're not going to Papados, we're going to Red Lobster, right?
Right.
So we have to bring some of that down.
Don't say that to my father-in-law. They're from Florida, so.
I look, I get that. Right? So you can kind of pick. Do I go less? If fancy food is important to me, do I just go less often, or
Right.
do I enjoy the experience out? So I go more often, but to lesser quality places.
Yeah.
Or do I split an entree with my significant other as I go out? But there are ways to take those same items and reduce them along the way.
That's smart. No, thank you for sharing that. Okay. Cool. Let me see here. All right. So, Olivia, you have shared with me personally like some really cool stories of how some of your clients have taken like small bonuses or just let's just say small bonuses and consistently turn them into like large nest eggs for retirement. What did that client kind of do to gain that success, and what did you advise him to invest in with that strategy?
Yes. Kind of like the question that you had before. There's, I don't have enough to invest. Well, maybe you don't in your day to day, but when you get those bonuses, you need to kind of start and say, what's my plan for that? Do I automatically put away half of every bonus I get toward retirement? And we're just putting that in sometimes not even a retirement account, but a taxable brokerage account. And we might be buying sector ETFs, so taking advantage of different sectors, whether that's at the beginning of the year, I would have said that that might have been in the energy sector.
Okay.
Maybe that's in tech, maybe that's in healthcare. So those sectors are going to rotate throughout different courses of the year, but we can say, all right, I have an extra $5,000. Where does this go? And we can rotate amongst where it makes sense and build that portfolio from there.
Right. All right, Olivia, you know I like to keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
With Jeff Bezos and Branson going to space, these billionaire boys clubs playing and breaking the atmosphere going to space, what do you think will that create another industry for us as traditional folks to invest in the aerospace industry? Do you normally have an opinion? So I'd love to hear your opinion of that from a perspective of your position as a certified financial planner and what may come for us with that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the one thing about being millionaires, they don't really need capital from us, like that's their whole thing. They will probably play amongst themselves first before it gets down to the individual investor. I think the sector is a little premature, right? Playing in that space. There's probably some other more tangible things that we have here on Earth.
Right.
But I mean, we'll see how that develops. But I think it's going to be a very exclusive group that's going to be in that
space. Okay, fair enough. Okay. All right. What are some common traits that all your clients have, maybe before you begin managing them? Do we all come to you with the same sad sob story, Olivia, or like, do you hear the same thing, or are people truly different in their initial states, if you will?
Most people have. So the most common thing I see is not being recognized. So most people, they obviously have no idea how much they're spending, how much they're saving, where it's coming from, where it's going. So just really taking the first step of stepping back and addressing that is really important. So that's number one. And then the other thing is I often people lack confidence in investing. And I understand it's a lot of jargon. It's very intimidating. And so my job is number one to get organized and have you having confidence in your plan. So those are two of the things that I always want to do.
Okay. There's a little bit of an echo, Olivia. I can hear you. Do you hear an echo at all, or you hear it a little bit?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's do this. I'm going to turn my volume down a little bit. Look, I was on a Zoom this week, and I turned my volume down. And it helped. Let me just get you to turn your volume down a little bit. Let's see. Okay. I'll let you know if it. Okay. Okay. Well, awesome. What got you into being a financial planner? I mean, talk to me.
I mean, my story is really boring. I was a finance major in undergrad, and I actually interned at Edward Jones. And I recognized going through my coursework that at first I wanted to be a finance professor. So I was actually a finance major with a education minor. And I really wanted to teach people finance, well, students. And then I realized that middle America and normal people needed some of these skill sets to help them not only maintain or gather wealth, but maintain that wealth.
Right.
particularly regular people, and they weren't having access. I felt like there was tons of people helping people who had millions of dollars and private
Right.
wealth clients, but there weren't people helping people who fell a tier below that had that potential that just needed a little bit of guidance. And so I started pursuing that right out of undergrad, and I love it. It's a really fun space.
Well, one thing I like about you is if a person came to you with $2,000, you could find a way to devise a plan and do something. Just through my years of working in corporate America, I always found that you had to have 500,000 or 250 just to talk to certain people to get great service. So you've been a person that I'm just lucky to find that will give great service without necessarily having to start with large lumps of cash. So it's awesome. So keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you. We really do.
Yeah. And that's really, I mean, why you for that is because that is what the industry is. It's not, you weren't hitting those roadblocks because you weren't navigating correctly. That is majority of that. And that's just, I want to help people wherever they are.
Okay. All right. I'm getting some text messages. Says microphones are sounding good. So we're doing good. Well, all right. Well, I have a few more questions. I know your time is so precious. You got a wonderful hubby at home. Tell him I said hello, please. Let's see here. How do you feel about the crypto market and what it's doing? Do you advise against it? What do you tell folks? Do you suggest they go play for those that have a little extra? What are you suggesting?
So crypto a lot of different elements, right? And so what I will tell people, and I tell most people, is that the good and bad about crypto is that it doesn't follow normal financial markets. But so the good is that it can be something that you use to buoy against that. But the bad is you can't ask a financial advisor, right? Because there's nothing that is behind it that backs it. And it feels a bit like gambling right now. So there's people in and out. We're not really sure what makes it go up or what makes it go down. I think the concept is there. I really do think that way. I'll tell you a quick story. So crypto reminds me of MySpace and Facebook. I probably told you this before.
No, okay. No,
So,
I haven't heard this. I haven't heard this.
So MySpace, if you guys remember that, right? In order to have a MySpace page, you basically needed to know HTML and how to design. Like you almost had to code to change your background color and to change the song. And I mean, and it really only appealed to a very small group of people. But for the people it appealed to, they were very, very involved. And it was underdeveloped and it was too complex. My mom didn't have a MySpace because that wasn't the space that she played in.
Right.
And it wasn't until Facebook took that same concept. They actually bought MySpace at some point, and they made it easy and accessible and understandable and digestible. And they also found a way to profit with advertisers and business pages.
Of course.
And here we are on Facebook right now, right?
We are sharing on Facebook right now.
Yeah, we have never done this on MySpace because it just wasn't there. That's kind of how I feel about crypto, is that it's too complicated. It's a very small group of people who understand it. And when it comes to your money, I have a hard enough time trying to convince people to put their money in good things, let alone something that they completely don't understand. Once it becomes more mainstream, like the concept of trading in different types of currencies electronically, it does make sense. I think we will get there. I just think we're a little early. And I don't think that there's anything with being second to the crypto space, right? So a lot of people want to be first. And they think that that's the only way you make money. That is not true. We looked at something like an Amazon. No one was really excited about the book delivery company, Amazon.
Right.
Back in 94, right? That just wasn't that exciting. But if you bought Amazon in 2000, you made a bunch of money. You were second. Even if you bought Amazon 10 years ago,
you're doing good, right?
And so you don't have to be first. You didn't have to buy Amazon when they were a book company. You could have bought them later and still been pretty profitable. So there's a lot more risk of getting into crypto at the wrong time. And there's going to be some currencies and different coins that fail and some that make it. And so it's really hard to tell right now.
It is. Yeah, I have quite a few friends that are I'm up, I'm down, I'm down. And it's like a therapy session of who's doing well and who's not. So it's a little confusing. And I thank you for your clarity on that. I'm steady Eddie, and I like my 18% or more per year. And I'm happy, you know.
I just don't have the FOMO, right? So unfortunately, the crypto folks are a little pressury. So they talk a lot about their big gains, and then they make you feel like you really missed out. You don't hear them as loudly when it's down or flat. You probably haven't heard a lot of crypto people in the last 5 weeks.
5 weeks. The last 5 weeks, that it's been really quiet. That's why I'm asking the question.
Right. Yeah, that's because it's been down. It'll pick back up here, and you'll see them back at it. Oh man, you should have got in last week. Don't worry about the FOMO. It makes them feel better too.
Well, cool. So, all right. So this has got me really excited. It's something for my real estate investors out here. You mentioned that there's a margin product that has helped investors on like short-term funding. Can you explain how this works for people? Where you've used it for short-term or even long-term?
So in the industry, if you have a brokerage account, let's say you have an account with $100,000 and it has individual stocks and mutual funds and it's investing and it's growing and it's doing its thing. You actually have the ability to borrow up to 50% of that value. It depends on the broker or dealer, but we do that. Right. And at pretty reasonable rates. So anywhere from 3 to 5%, you're able to borrow your own money from those investments. So you have $100,000, we'll let you borrow 50. You take that 50, you do something else with it. And then the dividends and interest that are paid into that, they can pay down your own loan, or you can pay that back over time. And I think it's really important for some of my real estate investors who sometimes sit on a whole big wad of cash.
Right.
They're waiting to use that, but that cash is sometimes being underutilized. And so that's just a way to do it. So I see it a ton with bridge loans is how most people tend to use it. So you have that $100,000 account, you're getting ready to sell your house and then buy another, and you need $20,000 for the down payment, or you need $40,000. You margin that, you do that in that transfer, you sell your house 6 weeks later, you put the money back, life goes on. You're not borrowing from 401ks, filling out complicated forms, and you get to stay invested the entire time.
Well, not only that, Olivia, right now a lot of people are freaking out and they'll take a lower offer to sell their home so they have cash to go buy, when they could essentially have a brokerage account with Edward Jones and pull that equity out or that margin out temporarily to buy their new home and then sell their home at top dollar without taking an instant offer from you know who here in the Atlanta market. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot
to secure a better offer instead of an instant offer, therefore putting more money in your pocket. So a scenario like this would help a seller that needs to sell without throwing away or leaving money on the table, as they say.
Absolutely. And I think it's about that partnership with your realtor, mortgage lender, however that, whatever that looks like. We can get creative. I mean, just like you have to get creative to find those solutions, but we got to know that it's happening. I think sometimes folks are like, oh yeah, this is real estate, it's separate. No, it has a lot to do with your finances. So use those tools.
You got to use them. Let's see. All right, I think I've got maybe 2 more questions here, Olivia. For me, running a brokerage, what makes me feel accomplished is really seeing the lives of others change through flexibility, drive, ability to run their own business and become their own boss. That's some of my drive with running the brokerage. What would you say is, in your position, what makes you feel accomplished with the clients that you have through their investing? Like, you've told me a couple of stories, but I won't spill it. Like, who's made you feel really good when you're like, okay, Sally no longer has to do X, Y, Z. I don't want to steal the thunder, but.
Yeah. So one of my I'll tell you kind of a sadder story. But I
No,
had a
no.
client, and they went through a kind of tragic accident,
Yeah.
um, which basically made them disabled, and they ended up winning a big lawsuit, and they had a good amount of money, but that money was going to be the money that they had for the rest of their life.
Right.
Um, and this person wasn't old enough to really retire or stop working. And when I met this individual, they didn't think that they could, they were really trying to limit what they could do. And they didn't think they had enough to work with an advisor or pay an advisor. And we sat down, and we had to hire a disability attorney to go back to get disability. So that person ended up getting thousands of dollars in disability and several years of back pay and disability. We got them on Medicare, so that way they could get all their medical bills paid for. We
Wow.
had to fight through $50,000 hospital bills that we got waived and moved completely away. We
That's
found
huge.
a place for them to, like, we bought a condo cash using margin in a way. And we were able to come up with a plan to where now this person doesn't feel like they won't make it, and they are making it. They're able to go to their church now, and it just has really changed that. And that kind of makes me happy to say, because this person met me, we sat down and we kind of broke bread together, their entire life has changed.
It's changed. That's huge.
So I love those. And then some of my other favorite ones are, I'll even say personal. So like my youngest brother, my little brother, when he started his first job, immediately I'm like, I'm taking $200 from your paycheck. He's like, "Okay."
Oh, you guys just snatch money from his check. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, no, we're not even talking about it like we're doing it. And funny story, he really, really, really wanted to buy a Tesla.
Okay.
And I said, no, you're 22. Like, we're not doing that. Just because you can afford it, we're just not doing it. Instead, I made him buy a Tesla.
Okay.
Now, it just so happens that at the time of this, Tesla has skyrocketed, so he thinks I'm a genius. But I will say that he is in the six figures of investing, and he's not even 30.
Hold on. He bought a Tesla car or a Tesla stock?
He bought the stock. I wouldn't let him buy the stock.
There we go. Okay. All right. I just want to clarify.
I made him buy the stock, and he's sitting past the six figures mark, under 30. And now every bonus, and we are saving at a really high clip. In about 3 to 5 years, if he never saves another dime, he could retire, and he'll be 30 years old, 35
What?
years old. Yeah. So that's pretty cool to be able to impact my family that way, just because we started at 22, and we started really aggressive, and I didn't give him a choice. So I do, so I love being able to do that. That makes me feel like it's the point of what we do.
What we do.
Yeah.
That's huge, Olivia.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've heard of some friends of mine, just counterparts, as they have kids, they'll open up little Roth IRAs for their kids at a young age, like 4, 5, 6 years old, and they will put money away for their kid. Is that you can do that, right?
You can.
Is that a strategy, or is that a little too much to open for someone under 10 years old?
I mean, it just really depends on what we're aiming to do, right? So
Right.
what I tell people, and it can be controversial, but it's like the airport advice. You need to put the mask on yourself first. So the very first thing I need to do is make sure that you're financially stable. And so once we have your plan solved for, we can do that. Then we turn around and say, okay, how are we going to do this? And so you can save in a couple different ways. You can put money in 529 accounts and save for their education. You can put money in custodial accounts and allow them to play in that brokerage space. You can put money in Roth IRAs. So there's lots and lots of options. But it's something that you can do. And it really just starts the conversation for little ones, and allows them to be engaged in that process.
Man, that's awesome. Okay. Well, fantastic, Olivia. Listen, I didn't want to I promise I'd keep it under 30 minutes. I could talk to you all day. When we talk, we are talking longer than 30 minutes usually.
Yes.
But no, how can people contact you? Like seriously, what's the best way to have people get started with you?
So if you see right there, www.everjones.com
Okay, gotcha.
Ewing. If you click on that link, it's going to take you to a web page. When you get to that web page, there's going to be something that says, request an appointment, ask a question. Type in that box, shoot me a message. We'll give you a call back. We'll schedule time, see how we can help. And we, like I said, we help in a lot of different spaces. So we don't know if we can help you until we have the conversation. So, and I tell everyone a consultation, so me sitting down, understanding your finances and seeing if we can help, all of that is free, right? So it doesn't cost to call me. I don't charge by the hour. We'll get to a place where you have a plan, and that's when we'll see and implement that plan. And that's when I don't work for free, right? None of us do. But until that point, don't be intimidated. Just give us a call. We'll find something for you.
We'll do it. Well, Olivia, thank you so much. You are amazing. And just for the record, I want to make sure people understand, Olivia can trade stocks for you. So if you want to get in the stock world, but you feel like you're too busy, I've got a lot of friends that feel like they're busy and they don't have time to monitor it daily. Olivia, you can help out with that for people where they're still similar to your brother's story. He didn't sit there and watch Tesla daily. He took your advice and, how often do you meet with people if they do become vested with you? That is an important question, I guess.
Yeah. So it just depends on how much they need. So beginning stages of that, it's going to be pretty frequently to get everything organized and transferred and figured out, right? And then from there, it's going to be almost in maintenance mode until life happens, right? And then there's going to be market correction. So I talk to all my clients at least 3-4 times a year. So it's going to be quite a bit of contact, but that's what you probably need. And we find our own cadence depending on what you want. I just got off the phone with an attorney not too long ago, and she said, call me next year. And I'm like, that's totally fine. We took care of what we needed to take care of, and I know how to get it done.
All right, y'all. Well, you have it. Well, Olivia, thank you for tuning in and jumping in with us. And I appreciate you, girl. We will see you soon. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, be good, girl. Take care. Hey, y'all, thank you again for tuning in. Olivia is awesome. I mean, literally, when I talk to Olivia, we're talking for like 50 minutes plus, and it doesn't feel, I'm like, where did the time go? But she's always educating and pushing and has an opinion and will be honest. She doesn't just tell you what, the typical wants you to hear. So before we end, I wanted to highlight what we're doing. We're doing a concert. It's a jazz concert benefiting Children's Miracle Network. It's called Remax Premiere Concert Under the Stars. It's going to be August 13th at 7:30 at Maple House. So it's on Ticketmaster. Jump in. We're going to have Grits and Jelly Butter band, and we're also going to have BK Jackson, really cool guy. He used to play for the saxophone for Prince. And we got a couple other special guests. And more importantly, we're going to have Makari Tarpley. She's a young Broadway film actress, singer, and honorary patient for the Children's Healthcare Atlanta, and recently overcame cancer. So you will get to hear her sing live and a few other treats. So thank you so much for joining in, and check us out on Ticketmaster, and we'll continue bringing good info to people. Have an awesome day, y'all. Be good.